My name is Joseph K. Boylan, and I am a local camera assistant and camera operator here in Tampa Bay. Well, I've been a camera assistant for many years. I was very fortunate to start with film, actual film, which a lot of people these days can't say, and that experience has really helped me out into transitioning into where I am now. I feel that with that film background, it kind of gives you a sense of like an urgent, like what you need to know, a skill set that was absolutely like black and white and definitive. And then now you got to be a little bit loose. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to change. You have to be almost wear more hats, but still within the same department. So for myself, you still need to be able to do the person's job that's above you and also do the job of the person technically below you. So before it was just you had your one thing to do and you did it and that was it. Now you definitely benefit the most from being able to do kind of a couple different things so you can widen your own range of expectations on set. I've worked in a fair amount of places at this point. Georgia, Texas, Ohio, actually, New York, LA. Here in the Tampa Bay area, you're here to do your job as well as help with the bigger picture. It definitely feels like more of a team project here in the Tampa Bay market. Where we live, like I was saying, is that you're able to have a camaraderie with everyone. So it really is, there's very few chances of not liking working with someone. We're very, very fortunate that a lot of the folks here are great to work with, and you look forward to going to work with them. If you come up with an idea or if you have something that you would like to add to it, they don't stop you and say, I'm above you, I don't want to hear that. They, for the most part, will be like understanding and say, that's a great idea, let's try that. So even as like an operator, you can make suggestions like that.
I'm Javi Fick. I'm a director of photography in the Tampa Bay area. I've been freelance DP for about 7 years or so. And before that, I was heavy into post-production. When I started out, I was in post-production and I was an animator. And I had a bunch of clients that wanted video work. So I would start to do smaller jobs, and essentially I was a director. And as these jobs grew, I would have to hire on crew. And I would work with local gaffers and grips and sound engineers and the whole crew. And from those guys, I would learn like what I was doing, because the first time I showed up on set, I was super green. Well, I'll take it back pretty far. So I've always been a builder. I've always liked to tinker, Legos, young kid, whatever. And then I was obsessed with video games. Still am obsessed with video games. With the love of building and the love of like computers and video games, I started to think of how could I work in the video game industry? And it was like, I wanted to design maps, like 3D maps. So I was like, okay, I'll learn 3D animation and learn 3D modeling. So I went to school first for like computer science, but then I switched my degree to computer graphics. So I learned a lot of 3D and 2D animation from that degree. And then, I learned the basics, but then I got an internship with a company called Daktronics who does scoreboards for large stadiums. All those boards need content to be created, and you have to do that with After Effects and motion graphics. That's kind of like how I kind of started, went from like the love of video games to 3D modeling to 3D animation and 2D animation to then starting to create actual content. That content kind of, I was working for an animation house technically that made the content for these stadiums. And once I got a new job, I was still doing the same thing, but I was working for an actual production company who had, on-staff directors, on-staff producers, equipment, so then I was starting to get like introduced to this world of production I've never seen before. But everybody has always been super helpful in this community. Once you kind of introduce yourself and if you have a positive attitude, everybody wants to help you here. And I think that's kind of like one of the coolest parts of the Tampa Bay community is everybody is willing to help. I'm almost like best friends with my ACs at this point. So I'm like, hey, there's this thing I want to do with the camera, and they're not even on the job, and they'll send me links and help me out. Same with my gaffers. I'll do a job out of state, and I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm gonna light it this way, and he'll give me a suggestion. And I think that really speaks to like how tight the community is here. And everybody takes care of each other. Like if somebody comes in and they're gonna be really good, we'll do everything we can to get as many people on that job.